I introduce me. I am Sebastien from Big Block Green Services. We are Bitcoin miner since 2016. We start in Ukraine, after France, Kazakhstan, Russia, Georgia, and we start to do mining in Africa 3 years ago in 2020. And I have a small movie to show you as soon as you are ready. Go. Thank you.
Virunga National Park spans more than 3,000 square miles and is home to over 50% of the animal species on the continent. It's also Africa's oldest national park and part of the second largest rainforest on Earth, making the lungs of Africa a critical battleground in the fight against climate change. Criminal factions are poaching wildlife and burning the forest at breakneck speed, and their actions are affecting all of us.
When it comes to the rebel groups and the militias, why did they choose Virunga? Why are they here?
You know, it's the civil war in Congo, then the Rwanda genocide that brought them here. But what's kept them here is the illegal trafficking of natural resources in the east of Congo, in particular Virunga National Park. So there you'll see some charcoal burning.
Yep.
It's the guerrilla sector. It's under enormous threat from the clearing of forest. There's thousands of acres of forest that have been cleared for charcoal, and it's really the main source of revenue for those militias.
Rebel groups and armed militias have pillaged Virunga. By burning trees and turning them into charcoal, they've created a $40 million a year black market that preys upon basic human needs, like boiling water and cooking food.
What we desperately need is clean energy, renewable energy, not oil and not charcoal.
And where is this renewable energy solution taking place?
Well, let me show you.
Emmanuel brings me to Matebe, home to a run-of-river hydroelectric plant in the heart of Virunga. It's powered by the Rutshuru River, which flows from Lake Edward and generates 14 megawatts of electricity, enough energy for over 1.5 million residents in nearby Goma. Since there's no dam, there's minimal disruption to the natural ecosystem.
We're hoping in the next 8 years to create 8 power plants like this to generate 105 megawatts. That is enough power to create between 80 and 100,000 jobs. Enough to draw out all the young men and women from the militias and work on a whole new instrument for bringing stability to the region.
We met Emmanuel de Merode at the beginning of 2020. 2 hydroelectric plants were already in operation, and a third one, on the Louvieau River, was due for completion 6 months later. But it was clear to him that the grid in this extremely isolated area would not be ready, and it would be a long time before the plant would have sustained demand. The ideal would be an electro-intensive customer who would set up on the production site. But who would want to set up a factory in Congo, in the country's most dangerous zone, in the middle of the jungle, in a mountainous area, with no real roads, no internet, and the closest village more than 4 hours away? Could Bitcoin mining cope with these conditions? We thought so. Would any professional miners risk their lives and their production tools in this environment? Well, before saying yes, we studied the situation. Emmanuel de Merode and his team's commitment to the preservation of the park is a fight to the death. Over 200 rangers have been killed in the last 20 years, and he himself was ambushed and shot several times with an AK-47. We were in the presence of true ecological fighters, heroes, and they were asking for our support. So, we started as soon as the plant opened in September, with 2 containers. The Virunga farm was born. Nothing has been easy, as the violence has only intensified over the last 3 years. In addition to chronic insecurity, we've had numerous storms cutting off power to the farm, and recently, floods on a scale never seen before in the region. But it is a resounding success. For the Virungas, the revenue coming from this farm is about $100,000 per month, and that's enormous. We've shown the park management that we can absorb the excess power with extreme conditions and constraints where no electro-intensive industry would set foot. Only mining can do this. Without mining, the Louvieau plant would be working at 20% capacity. Without mining, the park would be at risk of bankruptcy. This is what Emmanuel de Merode has just revealed to the American press. Today, the fourth Virunga hydroelectric power station is under construction in the northeast, near Ranguba, and already the park authorities know that mining will be essential for this 30 megawatt unit. So when someone tells you that the electricity used for Bitcoin could be used for something else, for a more dignified purpose, remember the Virunga farm.
Pour Catalé, tout le monde a sa ceinture, c'est bon. Si vous avez mal au cœur, il y a des sachets, ok. Ou bien il y a la chemise devant. C'est léger. Mais tant que ça ne touche pas l'avion, c'est bon.
One, two. Okay, great. So I think that more and more that environmental concerns will become part of our societal narrative, our economic narrative, and of course, our mining narrative. Where else do you see possibilities for proof of work mining to benefit areas of the environment? Like, do you see this as being scalable for protecting wildlife?
Yes, I think so, because you can find this kind of hydropower plants in excess capacity everywhere in Africa. Alone, for 3 years, I identified 700 megawatts immediately available to make mining. You know, so the difficulty is to bring investors in Africa. Imagine during 3 years, we raised $15 million to create the farm as the farm is now. It's a 10 megawatt farm. In the same time, Core Scientific raised $5 billion in America. So it's why I am here, and it's why I make many events like it, is to show that we need some investors, big investors, and we don't have Michael Saylor, we don't have a big investor in Bitcoin. We have Jack Dorsey working with us, with the African miner, but it's not enough. 700 megawatts, it's $1 million.
So I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Do you think that the resistance is racially motivated, or do you think it's socio-politically motivated, i.e. the perception is that African countries are more destable and more prone to theft and things like this? I mean, what's your honest opinion?
You know, my company is French, so it's always difficult to raise money in France or in Europe to bring something in Bitcoin and in Bitcoin mining. And you're right, it's Africa, so for investors, it seems to be dangerous. But in reality, our farm in Congo is very profitable, and our investors, our clients are very happy because we have a very, very cheap electricity, the better prices in the world. So it's nice for the investor, but they don't know this opportunity.
Okay, so let me ask you a harder question. Beyond the neo-colonialist VC model that comes out of the North and the West, we have things like Ian Grigg's Chama Pesa, which uses African...
My translator, I'm sorry, you can see I'm not fluent in English.
So we have the concept of chamas, so groups in Africa that collectively invest. What type of programs or ideas do you have to get, collective, small-scale, local investors to grow out the grid rather than traditional Western VC models?
I don't think so. I don't know some this kind of groups of investors in Africa. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sebastien, for that great film and for your activities to move proof-of-work mining forward to help the environment and to secure our network. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.